Don't break it. Drop it. Hey, I'm Kylene.
I'm Scott.
And welcome to our channel and our homestead, Skylight Mountain Homestead. Today we're going to be working on several things, just trying to finish some things up. So we're going to take you with us on a day in our life. Hope you enjoy. Here, Freya. Hey Freya, where's your ball? Find your ball. Go find it. Go find your ball. Go find it. You found it. Good girl. Good girl, you found it. Drop it. Drop it. Let me see. Nope. Okay. Okay, one of the things that we need to do is add zip ties to our trellis that we built here. We built this a couple of days ago, but we didn't have the zip ties to further secure them. So to build this trellis, let me show you real quick what we did. So we used 2 T-posts per cattle panel. I've seen people use 1, but I've also seen people use 2. If you're trying to be economical, you could probably get away with 1. But for this one we used 2, and our raised beds here are about 8 feet long, so we ended up using 2 cattle panels, overlapped them a little bit here so that we met the full length of the raised beds. You could also use a post driver to drive these T-posts straight into the ground and build your trellis like that if you're direct sewing into the ground. We're adding zip ties now, probably, I don't know, 3 to 4 per post. Is that what we're doing?
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Our posts aren't even because I have some dead log branches and leaves in the bottom of our raised beds underneath the topsoil.
And I want to point out that these posts are actually only drove about a foot to a foot and a half in soft dirt, so, and they're standing just fine.
Right, it's pretty secure. We're just adding the zip ties to make sure that no matter what, they're not going anywhere. We put this about 6 inches from the edge of the raised bed, and then we are planting our plants. I don't know if you can see the new ones that have sprouted here. Our vining plants here on the inside of the trellises so that they'll grow all the way over, hopefully, and cover the trellises on both sides. So there's our trellis. I'm really excited about it, and we just had this little task that we needed to finish up. I don't know if you saw the video of me transplanting all of my plants into our new raised beds, but if you didn't catch that, you can find that here, and I'll give you a quick tour of what everything looks like now. Freya just bumped into me. Here is our cucumbers. These cucumbers, these 3 big ones, you can actually see teeny tiny little cucumbers forming on there, so I'm hopeful. These were planted in solo cups and they were really kind of stunted and still blooming anyway, but they have about tripled their size since I have planted them in here. The onions have tripled their size since I planted them. This is my tomatoes. If you watched that video of me transplanting, these tomatoes were in solo cups for way too long because it took us so long to get these built, and then it took me a month to get topsoil in because of all the rain that happened in April. So by the time that I transplanted these poor guys, they were stunted and root bound to those solo cups. However, they have about quadruple size. They have taken off since I have gotten them planted in the raised beds. They're beautiful. I'm so pleased with how well they've bounced back and how they're growing. And you might see some other little plants here. These are not tomatoes, these are marigolds. I planted one there, and then some on the other side, and some interspersed here. So over here is the green bean patch. These are bush beans. They're called the provider beans. The ones on the outer perimeter there where the mulch is were ones that I had planted in the solo cups, and they were kind of stunted, but they were still blooming and producing. I'm hoping to get another harvest off of those, and then all of the new beans that I planted have all sprouted up, so I'm really happy about that, and they're doing great. And then the onions have tripled or quadrupled size since I put them in here. I'm happy that they're bouncing back. It was kind of I didn't know how well they would do on a lot of this stuff because they were in those solo cups for so long, and they didn't really have the room to grow like they needed to. And then these are just some winter squashes, vining plants that I've planted since getting the raised beds done. And I'm hopeful for these. These are peas that I had started in solo cups, but it took so long, like nothing went as planned, and it took so long to get the raised beds done that by now the season for peas is kind of over. I don't know how well you can see they're not doing so great with the heat, but I've still got a pea or two to harvest here. And I think here soon I'm going to be doing away with these, and I'm going to plant some pole beans in here instead, so that they can bind up onto the trellis. And then maybe when it's fall, I'll plant some peas again. We'll see. This is my potato bed. As you can see, it's about halfway full. All of the potatoes have sprouted. And what I will be doing is, as these potato plants grow taller, which they will grow really much taller than this, I will continue to add topsoil in until this thing is full, and hopefully full of potatoes. Over here, we just got this filled finally. It was our last one to fill. This is for greens. Like if it was earlier in the spring or the season, I would be planting kale or regular lettuce or even Swiss chard. But since it is later in the season, summer's around the corner and it's getting hot, those types of greens are not very conducive to heat. So I'm going to plant something that likes heat and thrives in heat a little bit better. So we're talking collard greens and mustard greens right now. And then once it cools down again, I'll probably go for those other types of greens. I've got sunflowers around this mound, which will be really cool. And then on this mound, Scott helped me break up some of this ground. Freya's barking because she hears something on the road. But right here in this patch, I've got calendula flowers. They're an edible flower that also has really great medicinal properties. Right here, I have that Freya's walking right through. Go, shoo, shoo. Where's your ball? Find your ball. Find your ball. Right here is cilantro. This is basil. Over here is thyme. Right here is oregano. And this tiny little patch is lavender. And then over here, I planted some holy basil. This whole area right here is a big experiment that I came up with because I had lots of topsoil, but I didn't have a tiller available to me to break up the ground in this area. So what I decided to do was try something that I have never heard of anybody doing, and I don't really know if it's going to work or how well it's going to work. So it's one big great experiment. I made big hills and mounds, and so I'm planting something in the individual mounds. Now over here, this is a very shady spot, so I planted some veggies that can thrive and hopefully make it in the shade. Like I planted some celery, I planted some turnips, and I planted some kohlrabi. And then over here, it starts getting to be full sunlight, so I plan on planting some other things today once I get the rest of these mounds built or made. Like maybe some corn, a pumpkin or two, maybe some yellow squash, patty pan squash, zucchini, stuff like that that likes the full sun. And then over here is my container garden that I've got going on. You can see I've got a mix of different kinds of containers. I'm a firm believer of doing what you can with what you have, and I try to be creative with, that, and think about the resources that I have. I saw a guy plant some potatoes in a box, and he was from New Zealand. It worked really well for him, and it kind of inspired me, so to speak. So I was just like, well, hey, I've got lots of boxes. You can get boxes for nothing, for cheap. And so I'm just going to go crazy with these boxes. Yeah, you only get one season out of them, but they're free and you can always get more. So if you're looking for a cheap way to get into gardening, maybe you don't have a good gardening area, I highly recommend just doing what you can with what you have. If you have plastic tubs, great, use those. Just put a little bit of drainage holes in the bottom. You can get boxes for free. and use those. If you're creative, you can find all kinds of ways to utilize what you have on hand. And gardening doesn't have to be a really expensive endeavor. So here's my container garden. I've got some hot peppers planted and coming up here. Those are some hot peppers. Those are Anaheim. This is a cayenne pepper here in this pot. And then these are jalapenos in this box and that box. I planted some bell peppers that have come up in this box. These are serrano peppers. I did plant something in there and it doesn't look like it's taking, so this box idea didn't work so well, you know, but hey, you try, you win some, you lose some. These are a Bajío chili pepper. I think that's how you say it. This is a big Jim pepper, hot pepper. And these are, I have to look and see what these for are. I'm getting ready to spread these out into a different box. Those are pimento picante peppers. Then I've got potatoes. Look at those potatoes. Look how they've sprouted up. They're starting to bloom. I've almost got this box completely full. And then I will not be able to add any more topsoil to this one. A little bit of room. But you can see what I've done here. I started out with a box half full. Planted my potatoes, and then as these have grown, I've added more soil as they get taller and taller. But they're beautiful. They've grown really well, and you know, I'm looking to hopefully get 20 to 30 potatoes per box. We'll see. All right, now it's time to get back to work. Gotta make some mounds. Looks like it's nap time on the homestead. Night night. So it was cloudy earlier today, but the sun's come out, so it's a beautiful afternoon. And finishing up my chores today. I gotta check in on these chickens and see if they have water, and make an alteration of this chicken coop. Piece of hardware cloth that Scott cut out for me, because when I'm by myself and I'm opening this door, I've had a few escape attempts by the little boogers. And one of them actually got out before I could catch him and went into the grass. I did catch it, but they're, especially if they're hungry or thirsty, they're getting really brave. So I'm going to try to create a wall at the entrance that hopefully they don't realize that they can get past, but I can step over. Looks like they got a little bit of water, but I'm going to go ahead and top them off here. Bad about getting poo in their water and other stuff, so this other one here. Liking, it's wanting to sit on top of their feed and water. There we go. Here they are. They've grown 4 times as big as they were when I got them, so they're doing real good. See, they're wanting to perch up there. I did build them like a little roost thing, so hopefully they'll start using that instead of their feed and water. So Scott just got back from getting water. I hope you've enjoyed just following us around as we do our thing here. I think all of our jobs are done and I'm on a practice shooting. I gotta get good. So if you'd like this video, just watching a day in the life, let us know in the comments and we'll do more like this. If you do like this video, you might consider subscribing and liking this video, and check out our other ones. We try to post at least once or twice a week. So until the next time, guys, see ya.